So, oh, and it kicked me out of the game. All right, let's try reconnecting again.
If nothing else, we'll have lots of footage of technical issues to show to Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I didn't actually start recording before I had my headset, so. All right. There we go. All right.
There we go. How was everybody's holidays / New Year's and so forth?
Pretty good.
Mine could have been better. I lost my dog over the holiday.
Oh,
Sorry to hear that.
He got out from the whatchamacallit, the backyard and was summarily struck by a car and killed. And but on the flip side, I am currently fostering my cousin's cat for the next few months, so she's rolling with me for now. And she's said to be a lover-dover kitty, but this is the second day she's been here, and she's just thus far hid under the bed. she'll come around, I'm sure.
Maybe you're just scary.
Well, I won't deny that.
All right. So let's see. Do we got everybody? We got Tanner and Alex, the quiet ones.
Yep.
I saw Alex light up.
Here.
Everybody still hungover from New Year's?
Not anymore.
Fair enough. All right. As you noticed, I redesigned Discord. It was one of my goals to get everything more efficient for the people who like Discord. Some people don't, some people do. It's there. And I wanted it to be an option for people who wanted to, one, communicate with me that way. Some people hate Facebook, which is fine. Whatever. It's all the same. I'm still going to use Facebook as the main thing. I just wanted to provide an option for like questions or whatever. If you don't use it, it's not mandatory. It's not going to become mandatory. It is staying exactly as it is. But the voice chat, the text chat, those are only for people involved in the game. So nobody can come in and post anything related to the game who isn't in the game. Not that it was an issue, but just there's a couple
nip it in
people
the bud.
that, and there's a couple people who are in other games, and I just wanted everybody to have their own area if they chose to have a conversation without it getting overridden. As I said, it's not an issue. I don't think it'll be an issue, but it didn't take long to set up, and I use Discord a lot. In the event of wanting to send me a message, feel free to do it here. But there you go. All right, so with that, I will jump straight into the game. You missed the first. All right, so we got everybody in. So it's been 2 weeks, probably a good idea to do a short recap in case anybody forgot. So, where we left off was with everybody in. That isn't showing preloaded. Wonder why. I just sent an image. It may come through all blank for you. It may not.
I got some details loading in.
Yeah, I got everything.
Good. All right. They've done a couple updates. So that is the top-down view of Velkynvere. You know that it is an outpost of Minto Baranzan. It is a slaver outpost ran by a high priestess of Loth, Elvara Mizram. She hasn't so far been seen too overly much. You don't know a whole lot about her, but Drow high priestesses don't have the best reputation as it is. I can't tell. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here's a side view. This map you can just close as soon as you get it, if you want to. It's more of just a perspective for you to see how the overall image is once you get those closed. There we go. So one of the things we covered, you spent 1 day here last time. Some of you went to prepare food. Excuse me. Some of you hauled supplies from the Quaggoth quarters to this upper area. And some of you were forced to compete in a rock moving contest that didn't seem too productive, but resulted in some of you getting the crap kicked out of you. Then you went to sleep, and when you woke up, you were split into 2 groups. And we haven't started the second group, which is still in the prison. During the first group, you had a Dwergar caravan show up with Darrow servants. Darrow and Dwergar are different. We'll cover a little bit about what they are in a short while. But with them, they brought 3 new prisoners. In the process of unloading the supplies, Ophelia and the male twin of the Deep Gnomes, Turvy, were carrying supplies, and Elvara stepped out for some observation, and in some form or fashion, the Drow guard there on the bridge decided to show off and struck the Deep Gnome, and the Deep Gnome flew into a rage and attacked back, which resulted in him being thrown over the bridge, landing in the spider web, and being ripped apart by the spiders. Ophelia decided it was best, due to her previous instructions, to not get involved. Probably a good choice. And that was where we left off. The only thing that happened that is worth mentioning other than that is while coming up the lift with, let's see, originally Ayke, but now Agile Smoke, which I think we talked about, but Alex did a couple modifications to his character. I believe he's still going for the same role, same general principle.
Yep.
Okay, so he's still going for the general sneaky character, except instead of being a bugbear, he is a tabaxi. So that is Agile Smoke. So in the process, while moving up the lift, Agile Smoke stole successfully 1 or 2 things. I believe they were daggers.
Three things. I got 1 dagger, and then 2 crossbow bolts.
There we go. A dagger and 2 crossbow bolts. I got it in my notes, but it's easier if you just remember. And for that, motivated by that, Indomitable Spirit decided, hey, if he can do it, I don't see why I can't also do this. And so he tried too. And was promptly thrown. Was promptly grabbed by a Quaggoth and thrown over. and she took fall damage to amount to 6 damage, which was a pretty lucky roll on her part. When she hit the ground, she was actually damaged beyond and knocked unconscious. The High Priestess, Asha, somehow got moved back up here. I'm sorry, she's not a High Priestess, she's an Acolyte. So she's a priestess in training. She healed Indomitable Spirit and then used her mace to actually deal physical damage to your knee. So you are suffering at this point from a speed reduction of 10 feet. So whatever your speed is now minus 10 feet due to a damaged knee until you are able to receive magical healing or quite a few nights of recovery. So that's where we left off. We're going to jump straight from there to we're going to go to the kitchen area, and we're going to go from there, and then we'll hop back. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, or anything they want to go over before we jump back in?
I'm good.
No, I don't have any questions.
Yeah, all good.
The only thing that I don't think I mentioned is that the Dwergar don't use riding lizards like the Drow do. They use giant spiders.
Thanks, I hate it.
They're not like the slick, slimy carapace spiders of the Drow. They are more akin to massive, horse-sized tarantulas. So, with that joyous image in mind, we will pick back up here in the kitchen. For those of you in the kitchen, we have... Apparently my phone making noise. We got Mal, and let me make sure I Kosjurkis, and just scroll down to get the names all correct. That way I don't mess up anybody's character's name. Kosjurkis, Rolen, as well as Jimjar, Sareth, and Shushar the Awakened. Shushar being the Kawatoa, the Drow, and the Deep Gnome. The Drow who dropped you off gave very specific orders that you would be entertaining, the mistress is entertaining the Dwergar merchants, and you have been ordered to make a series of delicacies. Blue cap mushroom bread made from blue cap mushrooms turned into grain with fire lichen spread, dark lake fish, and kelp wrapped cave rodent. And it's going to be served with the Dwergar fire lichen, liquor made from fire lichen. Each of these 3 dishes is going to require 2 successful survival checks to cook. The difficulty is 12. If you fail once, the food's going to be a little off, but still edible. 2 fail saves equals inedible food. It's probably a safe bet that with entertaining foreigners, there'll be a little less leniency with unusual food. You are under the guard of 2 Quaigoths on the inside and 1 on the outside. And you can, this has kind of happened simultaneously as things are going on. You can hear people moving things here outside of the door, but you cannot see out there.
All right.
Let's make some stuff.
I'm afraid to even do anything.
So what's your guys' let's get some nice cooking sound here.
I got +3 to survival, so
Same. Kosjurkis will assist as best as he can.
So you can one person can make the roll, one person can assist, giving the person making the roll advantage.
Being a sous chef.
A kobold
you're gonna be a
sous chef.
sous chef. You want me to be the chef?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you also have the others. You have Jimjar and Sareth and Shushar.
Are they good at cooking?
It's a matter of opinion, but the general opinion is no.
Yeah.
Okay, they can help both of us, I guess, then.
Kosjurkis
Jim
hops
Jar's
on the
probably the-
table and starts handing stuff to Rolen.
I start chopping up some stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so Jim Jar walks over and he nudges Kosjurkis and says, "You any good at making bread?" And he kind of grabs a handful of the flour that's made, the greenish flour that's made from the blue mushrooms.
Can try.
He tells you he'll bet you tonight's rations
Oh god.
that he can make a better bread than you can. It'd be a higher survival check. Cumulative between the two rolls. He's willing to bet you his rations he can make better than you can.
We see. Gonna try this.
He grabs a handful of bread, grain, and pulls Shushar the Awakened off to his side. And Shushar, in a very uncharacteristic Kawatoan nature, seems to just be going with the flow, whatever happens. Sereth, the drow, kind of stays towards the back and starts trying to make something on his own. Let's see what we can pull off here.
Alright, just an unaided survival check for me.
Unaided survival. Unless Rolen wants to help.
Yeah, sure, I'll help him out.
All right. Jim Jar starts with a 20.
Oof. There we
Look
go.
at that. All right. I accidentally rolled just one, so we'll take that. He gets a 16 to back that up. Let's see what you get.
Woo!
Scraping by a hair. I like it.
I get the I'm doing better because I'm actually standing on the table.
It's a height advantage that you
Yeah.
rarely see.
Mm-hmm. He's like 2 feet tall.
You know, it works. It works. All right. So with that, the bread is done, and you guys can move on to the second dish. It's going to be 2 more checks. They can work on something separate, and you two can finish one, and they'll finish the other.
Is it possible for me to squirrel some flour away on my person somewhere?
It is with a sleight of hand check.
Alright. Just a loose handful of flour disappears into one of Kosjurkis' many pockets.
I'll let you add that to your sheet.
Yep.
And
Handful of flour.
all right. So Jim Jar manages to make one of the dishes. Let's see. He makes the Dark Lake fish. He screws it up at first. He gets a little burnt, but he does recover. And the last one, you two can make the check there. Double survival checks with advantage. Whichever one of you feels froggy, you can each make one if it makes you happy. See what you can do with this fancy cave kelp wrapped rodent.
Alright.
You got to make the rodent. I mean, it's got to be high quality rodent.
I feel like Kosjurkis knows a thing or two about how to cook rats.
Alright, I'll let you do it then.
They're rat chefs. Look at that.
Diet consisting entirely of moss and rats. Ooh.
Natasha, we should have stayed at the old house. We could have had cave rodent.
Yum.
So the food is passable. It's not awful. So as you guys are cooking, we're gonna hop back over unless somebody else wants to steal a handful of flour.
I'm alright.
You do notice that let's see here. Jim Jar pockets a knife. Let's get that on his sheet. I'm going to actually add that here to a party sheet rather than put it there. because they don't have actual character sheets yet. So I'm going to put that in the party sheet, and I'll just put his name there, who it belongs to. You guys will be able to see it. Okay. So the Furbolg does not want to steal. And for those of you still in the kitchen, you notice that Sareth kind of stays away from you guys. And it's a very unusual thing. He's very quiet. Strikes you as unusual. You don't know exactly the situation with him, but he does not want to interact any more than he has to. So let's go back out there. As you guys are starting to haul equipment, the new slaves consist of 3 creatures. I covered it, I believe. I honestly don't remember, but I'm going to cover it again. So the first one is this little stool myconid. He appears in that picture a little inaccurately, but this is what he looks like. He is the one at the bottom walking on all fours like a little puppy. He doesn't seem to have a mouth or an ability to talk. And he does his very level best to carry supplies on his back. He can't carry very much, and what he can carry is done very slowly. In the process, those of you who are carrying things, you don't necessarily need to do any checks. It is just general supplies. But Indomitable Spirit, you're carrying supplies. Is there anybody who is intending to get boisterous again? It's my chosen word for trying to steal things and get your ass thrown off a lift.
No, not not at this point.
Weapon-wise, Agile Smoke's all good to go, but like if there is anything that appears to be of like extra importance, like magical items, you definitely try and pocket them.
No, you do not see any of that. As far as you can tell, it's mostly just general supplies and things of that nature.
Do any of the guards have keys on them?
No, none of the guards do have keys on them. But
Yeah,
since
okay.
you mentioned the guards, it is worth noticing. Obviously, you are quite outnumbered. So there are 2 guards that do catch your attention. You've seen them before, and they make their way out of the barracks, specifically as you guys are finishing up. And those guards are right there by the new guy, right here. This one, Jorlan Duskren, he is the one whose face is scarred. It looks like it's half melted from some type of acid. And he's probably a little middle-aged, late 20s, early 30s, and he's scarred. The other one is Shore Vandry, marked on there. And he is early 20s, maybe very young, very athletic, attractive. And he was, one of the things you notice about him is he has a wand on him. And this wand is a slim black wand that is tucked into his belt, and it has a green gem on the tip of it. In addition to that, he has on him a scroll also tucked into his belt. I'm going to just announce this out loud because I'm guessing you guys generally share information. But one of the things that one of you notices, let me check. So, Agile Smoke, as you are carrying supplies and these 2 are walking out, you notice Jorlan very skillfully slides the scroll out of the belt of the other drow, the younger drow Shore, and tucks it into his pocket. So you actually,
snap!
You witness him sleight of hand pickpocket that with your passive perception. And as you guys are finishing it up, as you guys are, you notice that the orc, Ront, is the one in yellow down there. He gets very frustrated with the Myconid and shoves him out of the way, almost knocking him off of the walkway because he's taking so long to move. And the half-orc grunts, says, "Out of the way, runt!" and kind of nudges him, almost knocks him off. And as the little creature falls, he kind of cowers out of the way. Doesn't make any noise, lacking a mouth, but he lets the full orc go by and then picks up as best he can and carries the rest of the supplies. The other new prisoner is a Darrow. I'm going to send you his picture in a second. And he just kind of helps up the little one as best he can, the Myconid, and seems very kind, although he looks crazy. He is a Darrow. And after you guys get all the supplies moved in, you guys are, instead of taken to the cell, you are actually taken and lined up. All the slaves, old and new, are all lined up. Let me delete this. Here along the wall. And shortly after, and with the foods prepared, and the drow and the Darrow, as well as the Dwergar, are going down the line looking at all of you in a very slave market-esque feel to what's going on. I'm going to get all the tokens lined up before I continue. Anybody have anything they want to do in that time frame when you're moving supplies?
Just want to keep in mind that I kept the stealth checks, but I'll do new ones if you want. Like the stuff that I have hidden on me is hopefully hidden away in a way that upon especially just like a glance, nobody would notice it.
As long as nobody's glancing in your prison wallet, is that the thing?
You got it. You got it. As long as there's no finger checks, I should be okay.
So the guards are dismissed. The everyday average guards are dismissed. The drow, that is. Hopefully I didn't just delete somebody.
I think you got rid of our dwarf friend. Our dwarf friend.
Eldeth.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you let me know that. I look like I deleted one of the wrong ones, but that is perfectly fine. She is easily dropped back on here. Make her happy. Drop her right there. Thanks, sir. So the Quagoths kind of stay off. The Dwergar send some of their guards to the barracks as well. The ones who remain are the leader and his two servants, and the servants kind of stay in the back. And a short time after they start walking down the line, you guys see the ever kind, at least as far as you've seen her so far, High Priestess with the Acolyte watching the Dwergar leader as he walks down the line. As he's going down the line, he stops at Topsy and sees her crying. She's recently learned her brother was torn apart by spiders. He kind of snorts derisively as he goes down the line, and he checks him. He stops and kind of spits on Eldeth. Obviously not a huge fan of the surface dwarf cousin. He takes a look at Indomitable, and then looks over his shoulder and says, "Your slave is damaged, High Priestess." And she kind of waves a hand dismissively and says, "Easily healed if you wish to purchase her." And he kind of looks at you over and walks away, moving down, skipping over the ones. He kind of looks again and looks at the High Priestess and says, "You're selling your own people?" And the High Priestess says, he was caught in the act of committing murder, claims not to remember. He is a slave like the rest of them. And as he walks down, he takes a look at Agile and says, 2 of these cat creatures. You must have ran upon a group of them, or are you setting up a breeding stable? And kind of smirks. And he stops at Kosjurkis, takes a look at him, and says, "A kobold? These things are worse than rats. Why would you want to sell them as slaves? You don't even need to set up a breeding stable. They'll mate with anything, and there'll be 200 of them by nightfall."
Yikes.
But wait, that sounds like a plan. Just make an army overnight? I'm willing to try anyways.
We only have like
guards open
3 females.
The guards open the cell. There's like 400 kobolds inside that come pouring out.
I'm
Get
just saying, you come
him!
near me with that sort of thing, you're gonna be left with one less organ than you approached me with.
Who fed him after midnight? God damn it!
Who got him
And-
wet? Damn it.
At the end, he takes a look at Ophelia and he says, "Well, you're fancy, aren't you? What can you do? You're not quite normal, are you?"
I can punch you in the face.
I'm almost tempted to yell down, "No, don't be a hero," but I don't say anything.
No, don't be a hero. And as you say that, he kind of chuckles. He says, "This one's got spirit." And Elvira says, "Yes, she does. We'll have to fix that." And she points at Ophelia, and she looks around, and she says something to Asha Vandry, the acolyte next to her. She uses the Drow sign language, and she doesn't necessarily seem to be very happy with the answer, and they go back and forth a few times. And then she nods her head, and Asha walks over. She points at Ophelia, and then she points at Spirit and says, "Slaves in the kitchen."
Oh boy, here we go.
And she brings with her the younger of the 2 males, assuming, Indomitable, it didn't sound like you were going to resist.
No. Tried
What
that the
about you,
last time.
Ophelia? You going to punch the dwarf?
No.
Spit at him.
Alright. I'll go down, but you're going to have spit on you. So Elvira makes a hand gesture and orders the Quagoth and the remaining commander to escort you guys the rest of you back to the cell. So I'm going to move these tokens. Feel free to grab a token if you're feeling froggy and move it back to the cell. And I'm going to hop around real quick as I'm moving these. I didn't mean move them around in the cell. I meant move them, some of them to the cell.
This is where Kosjurkis wants to be.
This is where I want to. So in the kitchen, Asha says, "You are not a smart slave." She says, "Of all the creatures in the world to put on a display in front of, a high priestess of Loth should be the bottom of your list." She says, "Mistress Ovara would like a special treat from you 2, since you seem to get along so well according to reports. You guys seem to be a little rambunctious in the kitchen yesterday, and one of you tried to steal today. The other one tried to backtalk a dignitary. She says, we would like lightly sauteed hors d'oeuvres. We don't seem to have the right meat. And so she puts an extremely sharp black obsidian knife on the table, and she says, we'd like enough to feed 5 people. And since we don't have the right delicate meat, we'd like you to take it off of your own arms.
Oh,
We'd like you to
Shit
work
just
it
got
out.
real.
And if you don't have it, by the time the mistress sits down, we will take one of your limbs each. And for every time you step out of line from now on, we're going to take that disobedience literally out of your flesh. And she has a smirk on her face as she leans back with against the wall to watch, and the apparently younger commander rests his hands very comfortably on the hilts of his swords as you guys are left to decide who's going to contribute the food and who's going to cook it.
To say, I swallow, I hand Ophelia the knife, and I raise my shirt and I expose my back to her. I say, just like getting a tribal tattoo.
Oof.
I don't feel like we need to cut our flesh off.
Uh-oh.
I say, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're like actually watching us. If we don't do it ourselves, they're gonna do it for us. I don't know about you, but I like having all of my limbs. At least I can probably regrow what's cut out of my back. Eventually.
I guess I'll cut a small piece of flesh off.
They say I'm already at 6 hit points anyway, so I might as well go ahead and endure the remainder of the damage.
All right. To get enough to meet the demands she's putting out, you guys are going to have to either take 3 damage out of one person or split it up between you. One person either needs to take all 3. If it's going to be you, that's fine. Or you guys can split it up 2 and 1. It's up to you.
I'll sacrifice the whole 3.
What will that put you down to?
At 3, I'm like I said, I'm at 6. So
Because that's 6 out of 10, so that'd put him at 9 out of 10.
I'll take 1 or 2.
oh wait, that's 6 damage out of 10. But yeah, I still got 4 HP left. I don't care.
Well, you take 1 or 2, and I'll take 1 or 2, and you can just cut a piece of my flesh off.
All right, well I'll take 2 then.
Okay.
All right, I will apply the damage. That puts Indomitable Spirit at 8. And that puts Ophelia, scroll down here, at 1 damage. Or was it the other way?
No, that's right. Are those people in the room still?
Yes, they are watching very intently and listening to every word you say.
So there's no way to sneak a knife in my prison.
The frequency with which the word prison wallet is making an appearance is startling and disconcerting. No. I mean, you could try it. A sleight of hand check is a sleight of hand check. It's possible.
I wouldn't do it.
I mean,
I'm not gonna do it.
Roland's wise words just ring through your head. Don't do it.
Considering that if you go down,
your hand off.
Yeah. Well, considering that if you go down, you're likely going to be dragging me with you.
All right, let's just fillet our flesh.
I mean, yes, I will tell you this. I will gladly choose self-flagellation over self-sacrifice at this point. Mainly only because of the fact that dying now would, kind of alter our plans.
I agree. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you two need to give me a survival check. The DC is 11. You can give it, whichever one of you chooses to make it. You can have advantage for the other one helping you.
All right.
If you
I have a
succeed,
0.
I got a +3 to survival. I'll make the roll.
if you fail both of them, the meat is ruined and you need to collect more.
I'll give you the bonus.
All right. Well, here we go. That's 1. That's 2.
Oh yeah, that is some well-cooked flesh. Expertly seasoned, tender. They might need to have that more often.
Yeah, fuck that.
I have a taste for Tabaxi.
No.
I wasn't ready.
They say they
So
want
back-
some more. They say they want some more of it. They'll come get me. I'll gladly feed them a knuckle sandwich.
Oof.
Everybody's a badass when they're not shaving their flesh off. So, as you guys are slicing your flesh off, and under the gaze of Shore and Asha Vandry, the acolyte and commander, you notice that they are grinning, enjoying every minute of your anguish. And back in the prison, under the sub-commander, Jorlan, he moves you guys back into the prison. And as he's herding you guys in, he moves you guys as you're going in there. He leans over and says in a quiet voice, "If I could give you the means to escape from here, would you take it?"
That seems like a trap.
You notice there's just Quagoth around and the sub-commander.
Who's he speaking to? Just anybody, or is he like making eye contact with somebody?
He's made the statement as he pushes the cell door closed and locks it, and he made the statement into the area.
So first and foremost, how did he lock? Like, I'll do a perception check, but like, is there a
There's a
lock
key.
on the door?
It has a lock built into it, and it seems to be just a standard mechanical lock, but he locks it with a key.
And this is the guy who previously had the scroll taken off him, or he's the one who took the scroll?
He's the one who stole the scroll. He's the one who's older, seems to be more experienced, but is obviously physically scarred. And as far as you guys can understand, he's the second in command of the soldiers, where the younger, more attractive Drow is the commander. He's the Jorlan is the sub commander. I'll change their names to make it more evident.
Yeah, Agile Smoke will walk up to the gate and go, and why would we listen to you?
He says, "This is not a conversation, Tabaxi. It's a question. Either answer it or don't. I do not have the time to waste. Your welfare is none of my concern. If I can give you the arrangements so you can escape, will you take it?"
But of course.
He pulls on the cell door, making sure it's locked securely, and turns around and walks away without saying another word.
What a dick.
Like walking back through the group. Well, I guess who knows if anybody's listening. But I just say like, okay, so we're not gonna actually follow his plan, but it's just kind of interesting to see what he's talking about, no?
Indeed.
And Ront, the orc, moves over and says, "I'm getting tired of having to carry your weight all the way from Gracklestug." And he, like, with orc force, like, punts the little Myconid and he bangs him off the wall. He says, "Start carrying your weight or I will kill you and eat you." And the little Myconid kind of quivers down and the orc storms away. And in a big huff as the Myconid's kind of quivering down.
As he walks by me,
Yeah.
Shushar's the big guy, right? He's the
He's a Kawatoa. They're not, I don't know. Let me see what their actual size is. I'm not 100%. They're not 8 feet tall. I think they're right around 5 feet, but they're just weird looking fish creatures.
so like they're not big and bulky, just like a murloc or like
that. A
like
5
a
foot
murloc.
tall.
Okay.
Got the crazy eyes.
Right. So as he walks by me, I don't know his name obviously, right? But as he walks by, I go, "Oh, just be warned, my friend, that well, you see him," and he points to, or I point to Shushar, and then I say, and you see him, and I point to Rolen. They get the first dibs on eating anyone, so you know.
He kind of grunts at you, not 100% sure, but and Shushar looks over at Ront and looks at you. They're agile and says, "Be easy. We need not fight amongst ourselves. Be easy."
Yes, Shumshar, we know. You get the first dibs on the eatings. We know.
Back in the kitchen, which one of you, if either one, speaks Undercommon?
I do. I think both of us do.
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You see Asha say, as you guys are finishing it up and putting the delicacy on a plate, she says, "Give me the scroll for Mistress Elvara. I will take the scroll to her. You take the food."
Oh shit.
And Shore reaches into his belt right next to his little black wand and obviously becomes aware that the scroll is missing. For the record, only Agile is aware that who stole the scroll. I just announced it out loud to kind of expedite things. I'm sure he'll tell everybody. And Shore reaches and he says, "I don't have it." And she kind of looks a little shocked at first, and she says, "Mistress Elvara is expecting it. The Dwergar need to sign the contract before they leave tonight." And Shore searches and searches, and you guys can tell he's looking for it, and he expects it to be there. And she snatches the plate of flesh as you guys are kind of trying to staunch her, bandage and cover the blood, and as you sliced your own flesh off. And she tells him, "Take the slaves, go to Mistress Elvara's quarters, get the scroll, and meet us at the dinner hall." And Ashara rushes out with the food. And let's get rid of these for the moment. And Shore points at you two and says, "You two, follow me." And he turns and takes a look directly at Ophelia, and he says, "I have no patience to have to discipline you. If you so much as blink the wrong way, I will cut your throat just to avoid the inconvenience. And I'll kill that one just out of spite." And he points at Indomitable Spirit and turns and walks away without another word.
Are we supposed to be following this guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
He would like you to follow him. So he takes you to this. That is the wrong one. He takes you to this happy little location. This stalactite. In the process, you guys are able to go inside with him, and he takes you inside. And let me pull this up for you. So as you go into the chamber, you notice right away it is clearly not like a barracks or anything like that. Definitely unquestioning a nice, well appointed priestess's quarters. So as you go in, there's a rope ladder that leads up, and there's also a rope ladder that leads down. The walls are hung with this black mesh silk spider web appearing thing, and it extends from a central spot in the ceiling out to the walls, and then it's draped down like curtains in a very fashionable setup. There's extremely thick padded woven rugs and mats covering the floor, so when you step into it, you're not walking on hard stone. It's like walking on a cloud. There's a low platform that is just covered in cushions and pillows, and it's this broad divan-like bed. And one side of the chamber has a small table with 2 chairs, while the other holds a shrine, just a small shrine to Loth, the Spider Queen. This is draped in white silk. And tucked in the very back is a heavy chest of black stained wood. It's Zerk wood. In the Underdark, they don't have trees, obviously. They have mushrooms, and there is a specific mushroom that grows very tall like trees, and it can be hardened to function like wood. And Shur goes inside, and in the process, I'm not going to unmask it because I'm just going to remask it in a minute. It's just an unnecessary waste of gaming time. And as he goes inside, he starts searching all over the table. Give me an active perception check, please.
Perception. Where's that? Right here. There you go.
Pull this up. There you go. Okay. Ophelia, would you give me an active perception check as well? It's pulled up. Well, more Spirit than is still holding on to the part of her arm that's missing a big old chunk of flesh that she cooked up for someone else to eat. But Spirit, you do notice, as well as Ophelia to a lesser degree, around that chest, you see things that are familiar. For example, there is a little staff that is very familiar. It has these carvings, Ophelia, that you notice. That's your arcane focus leaning against that chest. There's also a set of drums, as well as a number of walking sticks and general supplies that are kind of stacked there. There's some other materials that are familiar to you, general supplies leaned in the corner, tucked away, that you notice, Spirit, that she doesn't. But there's also things that you don't recognize. There's a couple small daggers. They look maybe crafted by someone you're not completely familiar with. It also has some component pouches that may belong to some type of spellcaster, as well as a spellbook that belongs to some spellcaster, you would guess. And in addition to that, you see a number of things that look maybe dwarven, surface dwarven make, and some strange looking tools like map maker tools, or you're not exactly sure. It's got some scrolls of paper and some ink. just in the very strange instrument that's got a number of tubes and bags sticking out of it. Not exactly sure what instrument it is, but you're reasonably certain whatever instrument it is probably makes a god awful noise.
Oh,
Some type of
bagpipes.
bag and pipes. And as Shore is searching frantically, he turns to you and says, there is a scroll, and he starting to get a look of panic in his eyes, and he holds his hands out and he shows you what you would guess it would be about as long as a scroll would be, and says you need to look around. If you find it, I will double your rations for the next week. And he orders you to look around, which would be an investigation check.
Okay.
All right, double 19s. You guys search the room, and beyond a shadow of a doubt, pretty much everything, every piece of equipment you had is either tucked in this chest, leaning against this chest, or in the back of the room under some linen and silk. Every piece of equipment. But what there isn't a scroll. There is no scroll in here to be found.
How big is my staff?
That's 6 feet.
Can I shrink it down to fit in my purse wallet?
Yikes.
I have some very grave concerns about your knowledge of anatomy.
No, I'm saying, can I shrink the staff? Like, does it, is it collapsible?
It is not collapsible.
I don't know, Tony. I saw a video once, and I think
I bet
maybe
you did.
I mean, hey, anything's a
bet
toy if
you
you're brave
did.
enough.
Hey, it is what it is. No, you cannot. The staff is not shrinkable, and you lack the magic because you don't have the staff. If you had the staff, maybe you could shrink it down with your magic, but you would have to have the staff to have the magic, and you don't have the magic without the staff.
So if I grab the staff, how long would it take me to shrink it down with a spell?
Well, that would depend on what spells you picked. I believe you have. Let's see. You do not have minor illusion, so you do not have the spell to pull that off. But it's probably a safe bet, even knowing that as a consolation prize. It's probably a safe bet if you were to grab that staff and start casting a spell. Commander Shore would probably react in a non-complimentary fashion before you could get your spell off.
Well, he's probably gonna fucking kill me before we even get out of here. I'm moving on.
The shrink staff. I like that. So he seems like he is panicked, and he rushes out, and in his panic, he turns to you two and he says, walk across that bridge, order the guards, tell the guards I sent you. If I come to check later and I found out you even delayed in reaching that guard post, cutting your own flesh off will be the best memory you have of Velkynvere. And he turns and storms down the hallway.
So he's gone. There's nobody there, right?
He's gone. He orders you guys to go down in a very hostile fashion. He's a little hostile. He's a little mean.
But is there anybody else there that's able to see us?
The guard post has windows, but you cannot see if anyone is watching you.
You can blame your busted knee to be slow.
Oh yeah,
They're
that's
definitely
actually
they're-
gonna stop them.
They're definitely they accept excuses really well. They're very understanding people, these travel.
Well, they seem like it.
We should definitely grab our shit.
To say, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna grab a few. Grab a few of the things, like a couple of those daggers. And,
Yeah, let's do it.
Just the small stuff that I could, reasonably like hide in my clothes.
Your potato sack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the same thing. I guess I can't grab my staff.
Okay, so let's take a look. Everybody open up your character sheet. Ophelia, we forgot one thing when we built your character, and I'm going to go ahead and just take a pause real quick. And it wasn't priority then. It's not a huge priority now. Would you prefer a Dungeoneer's pack or an Explorer's pack? And the difference is we didn't add a pack. The difference looks like the Dungeoneer's pack comes with hammer and pitons for like rock climbing, where the Explorer's pack comes with basically a little more. It doesn't even have a little more food. It just looks like it has a mess kit to eat, and that's it. That's the only difference. Looks like the Dungeoneer's pack has more stuff.
I guess I'll do the Dungeoneer's pack.
Let me make sure. Oh, no. 50 feet of hemp and rope. Yep, that's it. So I'll just stick that on your sheet because we didn't add that. So everybody open up your inventory pack. And how many daggers are there? And what small items do you have? Obviously, I don't have everybody's stuff memorized. But what small items do you guys have that you can mention that's there for them to steal?
All I've really got that's would be like the 10 darts, really. Everything else would probably be.
Grab my bagpipes.
And maybe the tinder box.
Okay.
I have I guess the component pouch would probably be kind of small. A bag of caltrops.
Spellbook. You do have a spellbook. Your spellbook's not on there. Is it? Did I miss it?
It's,
there it is. I see it.
But
how big is a crowbar?
It's not too small. I mean, it's a crowbar, a standard crowbar.
Because I just fucking use a crowbar all the time, babe. I don't know how big that is. Can I fit it in my prison wallet?
Like 2 feet long.
It's like 2 feet long.
It's too big to fit in the prison wallet.
Oh god.
Not prison wallet sized.
Yeah.
It depends on which videos you're watching, Alex.
You might be able to stuff it down a shirt, but it's probably gonna conspicuously stick out through the fabric. So
you guys do still have to go through the guard shack to get to the cell.
There are also 2 daggers in there, but they're of no priority. There is, however, I have no idea how big this would be. Maybe Tony can give us some insight into this, but there are thieves' tools that may be useful.
A thieves' tool is about the size. If you take 2 little hard-shelled glasses cases, it's about 2 of those side by side.
Okay.
Shushar has a spear and a sticky shield. There's some war picks and things like that. I'm just giving you stuff off of the NPC sheets that's available. There's 2 hand crossbows, a number of darts, longbow, warhammer. These are things you probably wouldn't want to pick up, but I want you to be aware of their presence. Where the hell is Jim Jar's little ass?
Let me just hide this great sword on my person.
Don't be scared. Man up.
I would definitely suggest grabbing that spellbook, though.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything that you guys can grab for me, so don't worry about it.
Now, I do want to make something clear because we just touched on it, and I know this I think this is the first spellcaster, Mal, you guys are playing.
Clerics count as spellcasters, don't they?
They don't. Well, they do, but they don't. So this is the difference as far as spellcaster. So, Ophelia, you have a staff, and I told you how that replaces any material component that doesn't have a money cost.
Mm-hmm.
And Kosjurkis, you have spell components pouches that replace that serve as any material component that doesn't have a. Those are interchangeable. So hypothetically, if you get a staff and Ophelia has it, and she lets you use it, you can't use it at the same time, but you guys could share an arcane focus. Simultaneously, you guys can share that components pouch. So if you guys get the component pouch, Ophelia is a trained sorcerer. She can use your components for her spells, just like you can use her staff for your spells. It isn't, the only issue is going to be if you guys aren't right next to each other, you can't share something.
Right.
So Ophelia getting the pouches will also allow you to cast magic as well as him. There are 3 hand crossbows and as well as some darts. And that's about it.
Well, I'm gonna at least pocket some handful of darts. How big would the tinderbox be?
I mean, as big as a tinderbox, it's slightly small, about the size of a cell phone.
Does anyone even know what they look like?
I know what they look like.
Look at
I
you
got
go.
one. I got one in my camping pack.
All right.
So, did you grab any daggers?
I didn't actually grab a dagger. I can grab one.
Okay, I'll grab a dagger also. And then are there any more darts to grab?
There are about 30 darts, 3 packs of 10 that go with the hand crossbows.
Well, I grabbed the 1 pack of 10. I grabbed the tinderbox and a dagger. And I'm
What is a
stashing-
tinderbox?
It's
Something used to light fire.
Yeah.
Just a fire starter kit.
One way or another, I'm gonna burn this fucker to the ground.
I'm gonna grab a 1 dagger and 1 box of bolts, and then put it in my prison.
Oh, God.
How big do you guys think these wallets are?
Well,
Like,
they
when
both
you
have
have
2.
Yikes.
I'm stashing these in my
God.
clothes. So
Oh my god.
Well, fuck it. I'm hiding one in my prison wallet and one in my lady wallet. Okay, fuck it.
So we gotta let me get this straight. I want this on the party sheet. So you stole a dagger. How many daggers did we steal?
we stole 2. 1 from me, 1 from her.
Okay, so let's put. I'm gonna take both of them off of Agile Smoke's sheet because that way we don't have any confusion.
Yeah.
Agile Smoke, and you stole the spell component pouch and the spell book. Is that right?
Yeah. Also, nobody clicked that link. I was making a joke. I did not think it would actually. Do not click on that.
It just says link on me. You'd have to.
Yeah, don't
Nope.
click on that brown shield because that actually will open whatever creepy shit Alex sent.
I didn't even think I put in a URL link. I thought. Do not click on that.
I'm half
Right.
concerned that you
Hell.
sent it, and I'm half concerned that you found it so quick.
Apparently, there's a site that's called Prison Wallet Fun Times.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Don't click on that.
If
Not
somebody's
going to.
server starts lagging, we know exactly why.
Yeah, not clicking on it.
And here we are. So we got the spell book, 2 daggers, a knife, a spell component pouch, and a tinderbox, I heard.
Tinderbox and a pack of darts.
A pack of darts, which are crossbow bolts. I will add them to your sheet because those come from the NPCs. Okay, let's see what we can get here. That is not what I wanted, so I will get the bolts. So a pack of 10 bolts. I'm gonna just put. I preferred the individual bolt with 10, so I'll just throw those here. And
I was going for the darts, not the crossbow bolts, actually.
my apologies. Did you grab the bolts, Ophelia?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Which one's sharper and more deadly?
The darts can be thrown. The bolts need a. He's got the darts, the 10 darts.
Okay, is that the only darts there are?
Yes, there's only 10, but there's crossbow bolts for the hand crossbows in case you get a hand crossbow. You guys are loaded up. I would
Take 'em. Okay, I'll just leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. Fuck it, it's done. I'll leave it.
Okay, so 1 tinderbox, 1 spell book, 1 pouch, 1 set of pouches, 2 daggers, and 10 darts is what you are attempting to smuggle back.
Yes.
Now here's
This
my
is going to
question.
go great.
I would like you guys to explain to me how exactly you're attempting to hide this stuff and where you're. I don't need an intricate like Alex Link details, but generally, what is your plan for hiding 10 darts, a component pouch, a book, and 2
It's a
daggers?
small book. It's a very tiny book.
It's not even remotely a tiny book.
It's a tiny kobold book.
It doesn't matter what race you are, it's a spell book.
Can I shrink it down? Holy shit! Can I shrink it down with a spell?
You cannot. You do not have any spell that will shrink it.
I'm looking in the book.
You I do understand what you're
You wanna
saying.
know? If you look in the book, it's actually just drawings. It's not actually. It's not actually words. It's drawings.
And you can't use his spell book.
Hide it under your boobs under your shirt.
That's pretty much exactly what I'm doing. Best I can, anyway.
Okay.
And just
So your
Victoria's
guys'
Secret
plan.
compartment here, yeah.
Just hold your stomach like you're like hurting.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So just before we try to cram all this under our shirts, the methodology by which you explain to me how you're carrying this is going to determine whether you get advantage, disadvantage, or neither on your check to get past the guards. So your creativity benefits you.
I'm gonna say.
So if I took my staff and I put it down my pants and threw my shirt like into my armpit area,
Are you
Would
over
it fit?
6 feet
How
tall?
tall? Yeah, how tall are you?
Let-
You're only 5 foot, aren't you?
Let's see.
you are not tall
Definitely
enough to pull-
Like I could probably do that, but I'm 7'7".
okay, I just have a dagger in my asshole, so that's all I got.
You're going to
Well-
take 1 point of damage for everything every sharp object you're shoving inside of yourself. I just want to be clear here.
I could probably
So
leave I could
Isn't that what
probably
you
leave.
said?
This is a rule I'm applying when you're trying to cram 10 darts and 2 daggers up your butt.
I
I
can,
feel like this is a DM decision.
I can just leave the dagger and the darts behind and just try to keep the tinder box.
So you
Okay,
leave the
then I'll
2
pick
daggers
up
and
your-
10 darts?
I'll take your dagger then, so I can carry 2 daggers.
Okay. And where are you carrying those 2 daggers, Ophelia?
In my prison wallet.
Okay.
no.
So we'll bump that damage up to 3 out of 8.
Shut up! You can't do that. You didn't do that to the other players.
This is the first time it's come up.
No! Somebody else has a dagger in their asshole and they didn't get damaged.
Just to clarify, I put the dagger down my pant leg, but your idea sounds perfect.
He did make a joke about a prison wallet, but then he clarified he was putting it down his leg.
Yeah, but I like your idea though.
But I feel that you're more serious about the prison wallet usage.
Well, what if I put it in my lady prison wallet? Then do I get damaged?
I'll make you a deal. I'll get a kitchen knife. Real quick.
Hold on. Here.
Oh.
Alright, and if I put it in my asshole, I don't take damage?
Ooh.
This is commitment to D&D right here.
What about blunt end first, like handle first?
Blunt in first with a
Yeah.
cut in the pants.
So
Half damage?
half of 1 is still 1 in D&D.
Shit.
If you're sticking stuff inside of your body that have blades, you're taking a point of damage. That's just that's the way it's going to be. You can decide whether it's worth it or not.
Just say I'm wearing a body, length skirt that goes from my neck down past my my
You
abdomen
think
here.
this is
So
a runway?
well, I'm going off my the picture that I used for my headshot here.
Okay.
So unless they want to take my shirt off, I'm just gonna keep the tinderbox between my bosom here.
Okay, so
So, do I have a bra on?
yes, you have underwear on.
Well, then I guess I'll just put a dagger under each boob.
Okay, that does not cause damage. And
Unless I
you're
run.
leaving the 10 darts behind?
Yeah.
Okay, and the spell book is under the shirt, and the spell component pouch will just say somewhere around that same area.
Well, I guess I'll get the darts.
Okay, the pack of 10 darts. Where, oh, where are you putting those?
My prison wallet.
All 10?
Like
Don't
together
worry
or
about
like
how
one
big
at a
my
time?
asshole is, okay?
Like, are you bundling them together, then putting them in, or just like one at a time?
I'm gonna bundle it. How big's the bundle? How many inches around? This is fucked up.
The dart's pretty big. It's a throwing dart. It's like those lawn darts when we were kids.
Oh,
I don't know
God.
how big that is.
One at a time. That's your answer.
You're not sticking darts up your ass. I'm sorry, that's just not possible. You're gonna have to hide it or leave it, or develop some third option.
I guess I'll have to leave it.
Just leave it. It's not worth it.
Oh, the whole thing is just totally not worth it. I mean, this is just gonna go just amazingly well. I'm likely gonna be rolling up a new character at before the end of the day here.
All right, so you guys walking this way, you go there,
Yep.
and the guards open the door, and 2 guards are sitting at the table. 1 guard is at each of the doors with crossbows. You can see the crossbow bolts have a little bit of green on them, indicating they are poisoned. And they ask where your escort is.
He's missing a scroll, and he sent us to tell you
Let us get back in.
we need to go back to prison now.
Okay. And he motions you guys into the room and then closes the door behind you. And he asks how long you have been without an escort.
If you look down the hall, you can probably still.
And he kind of looks you guys over, and the 2 at the table are kind of losing interest. And he says, is there anything you want to say to us before you go into the cell?
I shake my head.
I said, no, sir.
All right. Give me a persuasion or deception check each. Let's see if you can come off as nonchalant and not trying to carry things.
Hot damn.
Look at Ophelia breaking out.
Say, man,
All right.
I miss having so much in charisma. I'm not gonna lie. Moreau would be able to
The
just
guard,
go through that. Whew.
so the guard kind of looks at you a little, and then he kind of shrugs and says, "You're no fun." And he waves to the other guard, who opens the door, and then the Qui-Goths stick you guys in the cell.
Hot damn, we got through it. Whew. Ooh.
DC was 10. You barely
Ooh.
skid by.
Whew. And I have a 0 in both persuasion and deception, so oof.
So when you guys get in, you notice that there is a strange-looking creature being tended to by a Darrow, and there's an orc at the back, and everybody's kind of tense, like some tensions going on, some type of drama as you guys enter with items. And you guys are settled down for the night. Between this point is all yours. As soon as you are ready to go to sleep, you can go to sleep. Jim Jar makes sure to give his rations to Kosjurkis.
Hooray!
And he says, "You did well, Kobold. I'm impressed. I like you."
Where is Jim Jar?
Jim Jar's on the.
He's
I
somewhere
had
in
to-
the room.
Somewhere.
He is right here. I moved him off of the map, but I put him in a hidden area. There he is. So he gives his rations to Kosjurkis and says, "I think we can be friends, little one."
Yes, it's good. And he just scarfs down both rations.
I just hobble over to Topsy. I just kind of like kneel down before her. I said, "I'm just so sorry, little one."
She's definitely stopped crying, but she is clearly sad.
But to say, I do offer my arms toward her, and I said, "If you need a hug, I will be more than willing to
Leading
give you one." And I just
Yeah, I
kind of
see
like,
that you.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I see that you and Ophelia are bleeding pretty good. So I kind of just walk over and ask if you need some medical.
What happened? Why are you bleeding?
And I say, dinner was just a real cutting affair.
Ooh.
Dedicated
Ouch.
chefs, even dedicated chefs, put a little of themselves into everything they make.
They say a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this, quite literally.
Tony, what's the floor made out of in this room again? Is it like sand or is it hard stone?
It is hard stone.
Okay.
Now, this pattern, this anti-magic rune pattern, is there a way I could like commit this to memory, like the how intricately detailed it is?
The intricacies of this spell are beyond your capabilities at this point in your time.
Ah, damn it. Well, there goes that plan.
The markings on the ground though, are they like engraved into the ground? Are they
They
painted?
aren't. They're invisible.
Okay.
Unless
Oh, they're
something's being
invisible.
cast.
Okay.
They do.
Well,
They do come up when it's cast, as if they're activated by the casting of magic, and then they activate and cancel the spell. But the complication of the patterns are too complicated for you to determine and understand. It's just beyond you. It's a level of magic you don't have the ability to process.
well, dang. Well, there goes my plan then. All right, never mind.
Eldeth walks up to Agile Smoke and says to you that Agile Smoke walks over, or I'm sorry, Eldeth walks over to Agile Smoke and says, "Do you think he was serious? What do you think he meant by providing us the ability?"
Is it too late to do an insight check?
A retroactive insight check.
Yeah, you can do an insight check just to think
Okay.
over what he said.
I asked, so what's all this about?
So like
Try-
brushing his whiskers. Agile Smoke recalls. Uh-huh.
Let me walk back in here. I apologize. He seemed legit as far as you could tell.
You see, he does maybe tell the truth, or perhaps lying. Who's to say? But
Uh,
I think the bigger question is, when do we escape? You know?
I say the sooner the better. I can't wait for this damn blasted thing to go up in smoke.
give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Well, it is as you see, a precarious situation, and I do believe that either we wait for the opportunity, or we make the opportunity, and along those lines, you see, and he like pulls out the dagger that he stole. Before doing so, are the what are these guys called, Korgath or whatever? Are they paying any attention? Or? They're called Korgath, right?
Give me 1 second.
I'm gonna roll to find out. Huh. Oh fuck!
Womp womp.
I have no idea. What other languages do we know?
I know Elvish, Giant, and that's it. Other than Common and Undercommon.
Do we all know Common? good that-
Kosjurkis doesn't.
Okay. Because it'd be nice to be able to converse in a way that they don't know, presumably.
Well, most of us can. We just might have to mime it to Kosjurkis or something.
Gotcha.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's all I got is common and undercommon. I don't even know what language that is. Indomitable. That is.
I'm just cursing in my own natural Tabaxi language.
Is that Tabaxi?
Yeah.
So I should know that.
The script I think is something completely different. There's no like I think Fantasy Grounds script for a Tabaxi language. But yeah, if Agile smokes a Tabaxi, I wouldn't
All right,
think that he would know.
let's take a 5-minute break. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
fix a technical thing real quick, and
All right.
let me know when everybody's back.
All right.
Okay, yep.
Real quick, what I missed?
We're figuring out how to speak Tabaxi.
What was this about? Asking if I had common?
Well, yeah, just like generally, if we could talk for language that especially the Quagoth don't know, or like who knows what the Drow know or don't know, right? But I assume the Quagoth only would speak maybe their own, whatever their natural language is, and Undercommon.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking in Common might be a way of communicating, but you don't know that, right?
Only Draconic and Undercommon.
All right. So we might have to come up with a plan and then just like mime it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
pretty
the
sure
Quagoth
that.
are pretty stupid too. So.
Well, yeah. If they're the only ones paying attention, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only ones we see. But my natural one perception roll to figure that out probably won't tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I still cannot believe you managed to smuggle those things.
Truthfully, to be honest, neither can I.
Yeah, when are you telling the group about it?
Yeah.
The heck?
What the heck? What? What are we
People
talking
are
about?
keeping stuff up their butts and not telling anybody about it.
Yeah. Like
Say,
weapons and flour.
Let's
The
say,
What is
flour
it?
is not in anybody's butt, it is in my pockets.
It's butt flour. This bread tastes shitty.
Oh.
But I'm.
Somebody hands a knife off, just no thank you. You keep that.
Nah, honey, I'm good.
I'll just use this rock I found, it's fine. You,
But even in prison, I got standards. I don't want the butt one.
Thank you, but you really, really shouldn't have.
One, you got the good old butt blade. Oh God, that's the image.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah, the full profile pic. I just uploaded it to Discord. I just cropped out the head to use as for our.
This
No.
is the kind of D&D group that stays together for years. Years later, having conversations about that time Alex sent a legitimate porn link in the middle of a game.
Hey, well, hold on a sec. We don't know that.
Should I click on it? Find out?
Mm-hmm.
That is a fantastic picture, Mal. That's literally how big your little ass is.
Let's say that Dungeoneer's bag is about half as big as he is.
All right, we all back?
Yeah, I am
I
anyway.
think so.
How about this? If you're back, raise your hand now.
Raising it.
If you're not here, raise your hand. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I actually do that all the time, doing attendance.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I just realized I have push to talk enabled, and I was talking to myself for a little bit.
I thought I heard something up there.
I was wondering why no one was paying attention to me.
Aww.
God, you guys are so rude.
Yeah, that's why I have to like make sure that occasionally that my microphone's muted or not, because I'll be like talking like, oh wait, I'm muted.
Okay. So the technical issue, somehow, I don't know how, the names of on the tokens disappeared. They got super small. So I realize there are tons of NPCs here. So you guys are going to need to put your mouse over to see their names. But if there is an issue where they get small again, I don't know what caused it, or they disappear, let me know. Because the way it's supposed to work, the way I have it set up right now, when you put your mouse over Indomitable Spirit, her name should pop up. So that way, when I say sure, and you're like, fucking, there's 50 fucking drow, which one's which? You can put your mouse over them and see. Is NPCs have the potential to be with you for a while, depending on how you do things. You know, and how many of them want to be with you when you're pulling daggers out of your ass? That's a different situation. But so I missed part of what you were saying there at the end, Agile, because I was dealing with that technical issue. And if you wouldn't mind just repeating real quick.
Mm-hmm. So what Agile Smoke was saying was, and he's gonna continue the sentence, but do we make the opportunity happen, or do we, as they say, wait for the opportunity? By the way, and at this point, he speaking undercommon the whole time. He switches to common, and says, "If you know this language, please give me a finger in the air."
Say I raise my index finger.
Does anybody else in common or even raise their finger? I guess.
I'll keep my down, but I'm.
I speak it, but I just stare at you.
Great. Anybody else? Any of the NPCs?
Common?
Yeah.
No. Eldeth speaks common, and Ront speaks common. The remainder of them speak undercommon.
So
Do they
most
raise their
are.
fingers?
They do not. So you were speaking common, right, or undercommon?
I just switched to common when I said, "Can you raise your fingers if you know this language?"
Ront looks up at you and doesn't look back, and then Eldeth sticks her hand up, her finger up.
Switching back to undercommon. Okay, those numbers do not work for this.
So
Raise of hands. Do we take his offer? Probably not. No. Raise your hand if you want his offer. The drow gentleman.
So, real quick, Stool on his 4 legs. I'm going to change that picture if I can remember to. Makes his way over towards Agile, and he makes his way here, and uses one of his 4 legs, like I said, it's like a puppy, and he makes a motion for you to lean down to his level.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You acknowledging it, or are you doing it?
I lean right the fuck down.
Okay. And when you lean down, out of his face, a cloud of gas or something like that puffs out into your face.
Right.
So he puffs in your face,
Yep.
and in a short time later, let me make sure I spelled this correctly. Maybe it takes you a second. Your vision kind of wavers, and then it clears up pretty quickly. And shortly after it clears up, you hear in your head a squeaky, not high-pitched per se, voice that says, I spelled that wrong after making sure I spell it wrong. And the high-pitched voice says to you, what are we talking about? What is it that we're doing? Why are they so mean to us? What is going on here? And it's just like a flood of questions. Okay, I need to fix that on your sheet because that is too many P's. There we go. There we go. And it is not a verbal conversation. It is a telepathic one. And it's just like tons and tons and tons of questions all at once.
Yeah. So this conversation's happening right now.
It is. And he just kind of looks up at you, and it's like a childlike. I mean, it really is like a childish puppy excitement voice. And it's like, why are we here? What did we do? What do they want? What are we talking about? Do you have any food?
So Agile Smoke appears to just be staring at this mushroom.
Mike in it.
Mike in it, yeah.
I like that, Kosjurkis.
At which point, Agile will like sit down and kind of like cross his legs, but leave enough room, presumably depending on the size of this creature, to allow the creature to like jump in between his legs so that like they can sleep together.
He kind of, like, you sat down for him to, like, he climbs up in your lap.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm sitting down so he can be in my lap, and then we're just like gonna chill there and go to sleep unless anybody wants to talk about anything.
He looks over at Ront and, like, in an apprehensive manner, and before he lays down, like a puppy / child, and goes to sleep. Now, this is all telepathic, by the way.
Yep.
Okay, now you can resume your conversation now that the Myconid has fallen asleep.
Say, I don't really say anything because I don't know what's going on, but I do happen to look over at Agile and Stool, and I just, kind of give a very warm smile, has kind of like in fond remembrance of something. But then after a while, I just kind of say, now, you mentioned someone coming by and giving an offer. Who was that about? Say, did someone give an offer of an escape while Ophelia and I were in the kitchens?
Oh, yes. The a drow, one of the professional-looking ones. But we. I say yes. We mean no.
Said, this whole thing smells like a trap. But if it gets us out of here sooner, I don't really see much of a reason why we shouldn't take the offer.
Well, the one interesting note to add conversation would be that the drow who gave us the proposal, he also, as I say, stole a scroll from one of his counterparts with quite the trait or the skill of sleight of the hand, and so he perhaps he himself, much like in Agile Smoke points at Sarah. Perhaps the drow have some type of inner turmoil that they are dealing with that we may be able to manipulate.
To say that catches my interest, I said that is very interesting because, and I gesture over to Ophelia, the younger one had the two of us searching for that very scroll you were mentioning, and he seemed very frightened on not having it.
Oh, I do not know what you mean. I'm saying this loud now. I do not know what you mean by searching for scrolls. What type of scrolls are you talking about? I am just a lonely prisoner.
So at the gate of the cell, you hear a deep, gruff voice, clear at first. It goes, I hate to interrupt this otherwise interesting conversation.
Oops.
And he points at Topsy and he says, come here, Deep Gnome. And she kind of stands up and shuffles over. She's half out of it. And the Quaggoth opens the gate and he motions her through and he says, you belong to us now. You're going with us to Gracklestug, slave. If you want to stay alive, unlike your brother, you will find that we dwarves do not damage our property like they do. You either are a well-behaved slave or you die. And he grabs her by her arm and shoves her forward as the Quaggoth locks the door.
So the Quaggoth's got a key?
The key they were using, yes. When they were yesterday, it was Drow guards.
Yeah, yeah. Is it like in his hand at all times, or is he like putting it like back down, like
It's in his claw.
in his claw? Okay, okay.
So what's the plan? You guys can continue your conversation.
Roland kind of speaks up and says, like, I believe that waiting for an opportunity would still be the wisest action. We can see what this Rolen will actually do for us.
So, yeah, I really can't think of anything. I just kind of, I lower my voice very slowly, or very softly, and I move over to the others, and I expose my tinderbox. I said, I managed to swipe this from the outpost that they had Ophelia and I searching. And I say, we were able to get a few things, not much. I don't know what good this will do, but if we need to light any fires for a distraction, I've got something we could use that with right now.
Does anybody have oil?
We're not doing that plan.
Well, to be fair, I was joking when I said that. I mean, I don't have to set myself on fire, but I will gladly set something else on fire instead.
Yeah, like the spider webs. I feel like we can set those on fire.
I can use produce flame, so you don't. Outside of this prison, I can use produce flame, so you don't need the tinderbox.
Now, I'll hold on to it anyway, just in case we get separated.
Yep, fair enough.
Or in case if I get thrown overboard, I could set fire to the webs and burn the whole place down with me. I'm sorry, I just feel like a bit. I just feel like a bit of a pyro today.
Fair enough. So what is it that you guys intend to do?
Well, I'm just gonna like flop face down on the ground and be like, I'm just gonna take a nap right here.
Okay.
I mean, I guess escape when that guy comes back.
I meant before you guys go to sleep. Is there anything else you guys want to do before you doze off for the evening?
No, I'm good.
Particularly.
Okay. So
What's Ront doing? Or the orc? What's he doing?
after he had his issue, he just kind of settled down and started to rest.
So he appears to be sleeping by all accounts?
He does.
Let's do an insight check to make sure that is in fact what he's doing. Or whatever.
As far as you can tell, he is sleeping.
Alright, I'm gonna stay up a little while. Like while everybody falls asleep. At least an hour or so, just stay up and make sure and pretend to be sleeping myself. And if Ront tries to do anything to my little friend, I will be ready.
Okay. I am going to send you guys, not all of you. Give me a second to get this the way I want it and sent. And I will So 2 of you are going to have some reading to do. So I'm going to give it just a minute to let everybody who is have a chance to read up. So if anybody wants to take about a 2-3 minute break, I will be right back, make sure everything, answer any questions, and then we'll resume.
Sounds good.
So for anybody who's still here, I'll give you the little research session I did on keystring items. Because the group that I DM for, a similar topic point came up. I don't know why he wanted to stick this thing up his ass, but it's what he wanted to do. So we're doing this one of the newer campaigns, the what's it called again? Dragon Heist to Waterdeep, or
I hear that one's good.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a lot of RP, but at one point they got this necklace of fireballs, and I guess to make sure, in his mind, he thought that the police or the guards were gonna like pat him down and check him for him. He thought, as his goblinoid form, he should stick this necklace up his ass to hide it. And I was curious. This was after our last play session, and they talked about stuff and shove up your ass. So I was looking online to see like if there's any like precedent for that. And the way that they always did it online was that depending on the size of the item, you could or could not do it. But then if you could do it, you'd have to make a Constitution saving throw, and the DM could decide the DC to see like what the save for that would be. And so more often than not, depending on the size of the item, yeah, it's just a con saving throw. So it's a valid strategy.
Interesting.
For sure. Now, the player in my game didn't do it because we talked about the fact that if you were to stick something up in there, it would be in there snug and secure, right? And so he could probably stick the necklace up in there, but then how a necklace of fireballs works is that it's got the beads on it, and you pull the beads off and you throw them, and they detonate. And so if it's securely up his ass in pulling the necklace out, it would be an explosive situation. So
yeah, I can imagine.
That was a half an hour talk between me and the player, but like, well, why can't I do this? It's like, well, it's not that you can't do this per se. But I also had a 45-minute play session, or 45 minutes of my last session, where basically, if anybody's familiar with the yawning portal, a player fell down the portal, like the well in the middle of it, and then it was 45 minutes of other players trying to save him, and then they kept like doing stupid things to each other and pranks until finally one of the players just like fell to his death and died. Very sad.
Ouch.
All right, everybody who was reading, finish up. Okay. If you didn't, let me know. You can send me a whisper if you want to keep it secret. The things, if you were reading, were dreams. What you experienced was a dream. You can read it, and if you want, you can save it. You don't have to save it. I save it, and I can save it and send it to you guys individually. It's not a big deal. But that's what a dream you had. So as you guys are sleeping through the night, and in the middle of the night, you hear a subtle tink, 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 and it's kind of an annoying, pestering thing that's persistent. And as you guys start to wake up and you take a look around, you realize it's fairly quiet. And as you do, at the door, not the cell, but at the guard shack door, is Sub-Commander Jorlan.
That's the one who
And-
gave us the deal, right?
Yes.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
as your attention draws, it's probably about 3 hours before you would typically wake up. But you notice that the door no longer has Quaggoth outside of it, and the door to your cell is open about 1 inch as Jorlan steps across and shuts the door behind him.
Fuck.
Okay.
All right.
Are we doing
So-
this?
So here is the thing. That music is awesome. If we do not proceed, the natural response by the drow will be that we, of course, tried to escape anyways.
Yeah, I can see that.
So either we go now, or we make it very evident that only one of us tried to escape, and we kill that person now.
I know where our items are. If we escape, I can lead you there.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Where are our items? What do you speak of?
Just say they're in the barracks where they keep the guards.
Yes.
That's not where they were.
Well,
What? Well, they're in the
The second
over
select
2
line.
bridges.
yeah.
They're in
I
the
was-
lead priestess's chamber.
Yeah, the priestess's chamber, yeah. That's what I meant to say. They're past the guard post in the priestess's chamber.
We cannot.
Or the kitchen.
We cannot get past the guard post. There will be guards in the guard.
Outside of this room, I can assume the shape of their lead commander and escort us through.
What?
Let's do it.
All right, yeah. We've got nothing to lose except our lives. Let's go for it.
All right, follow me, young ones.
I have an extra dagger if someone would like it.
Well, keep the weapons hidden. Do not let them know that we're all still, of course, prisoners. Yes.
Okay, so do bear in mind a couple things that are worth mentioning at the moment. Not the least of which is you're all still wearing shackles.
Yep.
Now, if you have a weapon, I want to clear this up now before things get too crazy. So, Jim Jar stole a knife. I'm going to put that on his sheet. Where's that little squirrely fuck? There he is. So, Jim Jar has a dagger. If you have a weapon, like one of those daggers, I want you to drag it from the party sheet inventory. If you, let's see, I think 2 of you have it. If you guys are going to give each other those spell books and so forth, here's how I want you to do it. Top right, the little 3 people symbol with the letter I, and then the inventory tab. It'll take everybody a couple seconds to get there. If you need me to repeat that, just say the word. I am currently modifying some Jim Jar stuff as we are. So if you have a weapon, like a dagger, put it on your sheet and then mark it to the equipped option. I think the equipped option looks like a suit of chainmail next to the dagger. That way it shows up on your combat sheet.
But even if it's equipped, we want it, like, we still want to pretend
still
that we're concealing it right now, right?
Yes, it would still be hidden, but
Okay.
it's on your sheet so that it shows up as a weapon.
Right. Okay.
So for a Jim Jar, that I got to get his damage in there. Okay, so I got his stolen kitchen knife ready, so that's his. Jim Jar's equipped properly, and there's one more dagger Was somebody going to take that?
Oh, I put it on my sheet, but if somebody else wants it, you can have it.
Does anybody else want that second dagger? I'm just asking because if you guys get in a fight later, I don't want to. I'd rather you guys sort it out now.
I'm alright.
I mean, if nobody will take it, I mean, like Agile Smoke will take it, sure.
I can set people on fire with my mind.
What?
What?
Yeah, I mean,
It's back on there. You can have it.
Just to warn you, I will not take part in any physical fight, but I will aid you.
Well, what's not to like about that?
Alrighty.
Alright, so I'm going to use Disguise Self, part of my Firbolg magic, to assume the shape of the lead commander.
Okay. So little disguise self. I'm not. Let's see. Where is that fancy Firbolg magic? All right. So disguise self. For the duration, within 30 feet of you. No, that's the wrong one. I clicked on the wrong one. So you make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings on your person, look different until the spell ends for 1 hour. You can use the spell to add a hat, etc. So to discern that you are disguised, a creature can use its action to inspect your appearance and must succeed on an intelligence investigation check versus your DC. Okay. So keep in mind what your difficulty class is, and we will go from there. Spellbook and spell component pouch. Kosjurkis, are you taking those?
Are they being offered to me?
I don't know. That's up to Ophelia.
Ophelia?
I only took the daggers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then it's up to Indomitable Spirit.
I didn't take the book or the pouch either. But I mean, I'll go ahead and I'll let him have it.
Okay.
One of you guys definitely said you took it, but
Yeah.
I mean,
There
I
was
only
some
took
confusion.
sharp objects.
I mean, I ain't
We'll
gonna
just
argue.
leave it. Well, this is my rule on the spell component pouch. If, for example, Ophelia, if you wanted to use Kosjurkis's or whoever has it, it looks like Kosjurkis has it in his inventory for now. So if you are within 5 feet of Kosjurkis, when you cast the spell, you can use the component pouch. But if you guys are separated, you can't cast magic.
What is it? What is that? What does a component pouch mean?
It's let's go to your action tab and your spells. Let's take a look. So Firebolt. I'm just going down the list of your spells, finding out which ones need material components, so it isn't something you have to do. So, damn, do any of them? Fancy. Mage Armor. Mage Armor is the only one that requires spell components. So when you cast Mage Armor, you have to be within 5 feet of Kosjurkis. If you guys are going into battle, I strongly recommend you cast Mage Armor. It lasts 8 hours.
Along those lines, how tricky is it to get these manacles off?
That depends on how you're going to try and get them off.
So, like,
I
right
have to
now,
protect
can I
them.
take
We'll
one of
have
my
them.
bolts? Yeah, but can I take one of my bolts right now and just see if I can like unlock them? So like they'd still be on my wrists, and if I hold my hands, it would look like they're still on me, like no problem.
Mm-hmm. So
But
you
in
want to
fact,
try
at a
and
moment,
pick
I
the
can
lock?
just throw them off. Yeah, sure, okay.
Do you have proficiency with Thieves' Tools?
I do, not that I have
Okay.
these tools in my hands.
You do not
but...
have Thieves' Tools. I will give you a disadvantage check to try to pick the lock.
Okay, is that sleight of hand or?
It's you basically you would treat it. You can use the sleight of hand roll.
Right, because it's proficiency plus dex, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'll do that. Let's see. Wow, I mean, tell me that went through. That went through, right?
I don't see anything.
I don't see
Son
anything on my
of a
end.
bastard! It rolled and nothing happened. Okay, that is way worse, but whatever.
So you try. You would have to do it at disadvantage, but
Oh yeah.
that
Actually, well,
failed nonetheless.
okay.
It takes you about 5 minutes. You try, but you're not able to do it. You can try and break them, or you can bang them.
No, so like just as we're leaving, like I would just be trying to pick it, and like if I can't get any grip, I can't get going, I would just stop. But
Yeah,
I try to do the same thing with myself. I'm just using my cat claws as like natural lock picks if at all possible.
Double disadvantage.
and you break a nail.
That's it. I mean, I'm already carved up like a roast turkey as it is anyway, so what the hell, huh?
Alright, shall we?
You guys ready to go?
Yeah.
That didn't exactly count as a short rest, did it? Can I like use my hit die to try at least?
Yeah. Short rest, yeah.
So I would recommend for those of you with magic to consider, not telling you to, but to consider casting armor-related spells. Kosjurkis, I don't know. Let me take a peek. Do you have any type? No mage armor. Okay. Well, you're a cocky little bastard, aren't you?
I'm just trying to not get shot.
Okay, Ophelia. Now you have 2 spell slots per day, so you only get 2 good spells. Mage armor, what it will do is your armor class is presently 12. If you cast mage armor, your armor class becomes 15. It's going to use up half of your magical non-cantrip resources, but it's going to make you harder to hit. Some things to keep in mind. What's that?
Are you going to put our hit points to max since we did a long rest?
Thank you. I will put the long rest. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, nice.
You still have a 10-foot speed reduction.
I know.
Just making sure we're clear. So, who did I just delete? Did I delete Jim Jar again?
You did, yeah.
Yep.
Every time.
Every time. Maybe I'll just have to kill his ass off.
Or is Jim Jar just a rogue and he's very stealthy?
Da-na-na-na, da-na. He is a rogue, actually. But that isn't why he keeps getting deleted.
I could do mage armor.
Okay. So for you, how to cast mage armor is that next to mage armor has an effect. I'm not 100% sure, so let's test it real quick. Go ahead and just click it once, see if it applies to you. It might or might not. I don't know.
It will. It will. Yeah.
Okay, and then after you cast a level 1 spell, you have to go up and keep track of your spell slots on your own. So you have to go up and check that.
And then I can cast it on somebody else who is going to be fighting.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, technically she can cast it on. It'd take all of her magic, but it'd make somebody else.
Does anybody know they're going to fight for sure and want?
I already have an armor class of 14, so I'm probably got like the second best out of everyone else at this point.
Just hold on to it for now, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jim Jar moves up and says, perhaps if we have a little time, I would bet you that it is in our best interest to move quietly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And he kind of crouches down into the shadows. And
Good thing I have really high stealth for some reason.
So
With
Rot walks
cat-like
over.
tread.
So Rot walks over and says, "You guys are cowards. Move!" And he pushes his way past all of you and just shoves his way through.
Yikes.
And looks left, looks right, and picks a bridge and takes off running down the bridge.
Oh, he's a dead man.
Boy.
We should go.
Hey,
Let's go.
quickly, is this area here devoid of spiders? Spider webs, like right there.
Give me 1 second. I'm on a different layer. I can't see your pointer.
Green
It's devoid
circle.
of spider webs, yes.
But it's a high drop and into water of nebulous depth.
That is
Correct?
correct.
Okay.
And he kicks open the door
Oh no!
and lets out a roar and says, Gromsh will protect me for the one eye.
Oh no!
Oh, he's a
Oh,
dead
yeah.
man.
We're also all dead.
Are we going left or are we going right? Which way are we going here?
Well, if you want to get your stuff, we need to go left.
Actually, don't roll initiative. I'm gonna roll it automatically. That way, it's just gonna save. It's gonna save. Actually, let me try this. Will it roll for everybody? Haha! Fancy. Now they added a new button. Roll NPC initiative. That is fan-fucking-tastic. You guys go ahead and roll your own initiative.
Rude.
Crap.
Goddamn.
I'm not getting blamed for that too.
Nice roll. Nice rolls, not so nice rolls.
So what's the general strategy here? Because I feel like we can't actually best these boys in combat.
Well, we might have. I mean, I really
You
like
have
the idea
time
of
to
the
talk. So if
shape-shifting.
you,
Yeah, I like the idea of the shape-shifting, but I don't know if we can roll that now.
Yeah, I don't know.
be
But
scared.
if I don't know if we can, but I mean, like the idea of like slipping by down the side here and climbing down or some shit might be like this might be the distraction we need.
Yeah, would it be possible, do you think, Tony? Like, just given what we know by I'm assuming we looked off the edge a few times. Would it be possible to actually climb down where I indicated, or is it just like a sheer rock wall?
You could climb down. It would require an athletics check, but it's not smooth. It's not right by the waterfall. So I mean, you're
Right.
not dealing with like water spray. It probably estimating. I mean, you'd wager it's probably not too difficult.
Mhm.
Probably translating into numbers a 10, an 11, or 12.
Okay.
What about an aerobics check?
You mean acrobatics?
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
In fairness, we did an aerobics check right before the game.
Very nice.
So my vote is we go right, fool the Quaigoth into saying you're just relocating the prisoners, and then climb
Ooh.
down.
That's
Yeah,
a good
Because
idea.
I do not think we're gonna get past those drow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask the crazy questions right now. Featherfall, anybody?
Nope.
I don't have any.
Okay.
Is it possible to, like, a small creature to climb upon the back of a larger creature
Yeah.
when climbing? Because I would fall, probably.
Yes, you can, but you will give the person who you're climbing on, unless their two sides is larger, disadvantage.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
Further stupid question along those lines. Not that was a stupid question. Sorry. But what I mean to say is that Tabaxi have claws. We're good at climbing.
Do you have a climb speed?
Yeah, 20.
No check required.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Can I
Yep.
climb upon the Tabaxi's backsies?
Yeah. What does that do?
Nothing. You do not make checks for climbing.
Word!
Yep.
Okay.
I'll
Same
take a
as
passenger.
swimming.
I said, I'm about to say, I'll turn to Stool or Kosjurkis and say, hey, if you need a ride, hop on board.
Alright.
I'll just constantly give guidance to myself and whoever else needs it.
Can I? Well, can I get Stool? Because Stool's pretty damn small, right?
Oh yeah.
Can I get Stool and like maybe Jim Jar on my back?
No. And Jim Jar doesn't need your help, nor is he accepting it.
I bet you don't need my help, Jim Jar.
Oh!
But
Nice.
don't worry about that. Are we good? I don't think our stuff is worth our lives at this point.
If I just throw a Cure Wounds at Spirit, will I get rid of her speed reduction?
It will.
I might as well try and do that real quick too then.
All right. To say I appreciate it.
Alright, let's trick some Quaigoth.
That means
All
Roland's got to go first, right?
Yeah, so I'll
Okay.
myself
Oh.
into.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do,
Yeah.
do I want to go into like? Yeah, I'll do the leader, dude. Forget his name. Shore.
Commander Shore.
Shore.
Okay. So
Tell
You
them you're relocating the prisoners.
outstanding. Let me get this. There's no fun in pretending to be sure if you don't actually get the token.
Woo. Sure enough, he looks the part.
So, as you guys run, this is going to be round by round. He kicks that door in, and he technically does get surprise. And so he doesn't get an action. I'm going to scroll up here. You guys are all moving together, but you're waiting on. You guys are going to be moving, but you're waiting on Rolen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You think we can try to go to the left and I can just yell like that guy escaped and like
I wouldn't risk that.
no, just go off to the
It's
right.
gonna be easier to just trick the Quagoth.
Yeah, let's only make so many checks, right?
Yep, fair enough.
Okay. So Ront goes running in, and what he does is true orcish brilliance. He throws a punch, and he throws a punch at the drow. He does get advantage, even though that was only one roll, because he surprised them. And he punches the drow and manages, let's see what strength he has. He does 4 damage to drow 5. You find him. He does 4 damage, punches him right in his face, and tries to push his way through unsuccessfully as he roars in a loud, violent orc manner, just letting out a "Rah!"
On the plus side, at
And-
least he's providing a distraction for us. So
All right, Rolen.
Alright, is it like free move or do I have because I'm just free moving right now?
Oh, it is turn based.
Okay, but you're not locking the tokens. Okay.
I was there's no need to lock him right now.
Okay. What are these Quagoths doing?
Thus far, the Quagoths, I did not mean to hide him. They are standing at the door. The door is open, but they are just in this round starting to be aware of something going on. It's a surprise round. You guys knew what was going on. They didn't. So they're not reacting this round. If you
Okay.
want to talk, that's a free action.
Yeah, I'll just say like there's an incident, but it's being taken care of. No need to come out. Just stay in your corridors for now until I call you, and I'll shut.
Okay. Do a deception check. Obviously, deception. Okay. The Quagoth don't quite believe you. You seem a little too nice.
I'll throw some swear words in there.
It's too late.
Too late. You seemed a little too sweet. They start to stand up and start looking at each other. Now that you're there, like you're actually down there, and the first time you've necessarily been down there at night, you do notice that there are more than just 2, but there are 4 Quagoth. 4 additional, my apologies. So of the Quagoths that you see, I'm sticking them on there now, they seem to be, or have been, sleeping or resting in various areas around, but as you make an appearance, especially as trained as they are, they start to stand up and take a look around and try and find out what's going on. So the Quagoths are becoming aware of what's going on.
shit, can we barricade the door from this side? just
No, you
damn
guys would have to try and force it closed.
Yeah, that's
You'd have to.
not gonna happen.
Okay, so now that everything's going to be going to the top, I'm actually going to lock the tokens. You guys can move these tokens kind of to the entrance. I'll move you guys right up here. And we're going to pick up combat in order. It's fine by me. And you notice Eldath steps onto this bridge and takes a defensive posture. Spirit, what's your plan?
I'm heading right toward the edge. I'm just gonna grab onto the wall, and I'm just unless anyone wants to hop on and climb on down with me, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start getting ready to climb on down.
What
Okay.
about your kobold friend?
Yeah,
You gonna wait on your kobold friend?
yeah. I'll wait for him.
You
That's
want
why I
Okay.
said,
pop-ups?
that's why I said I'm going to start ready to get climbing on down. I'm not climbing down yet.
All right.
Okay. Just hit the next actor button.
All right.
Okay. Fuck.
I mean, if I can climb off slightly over to the side here.
To confirm, you said only like an actual size smaller you can carry without restriction.
Yes. Stool is an exception. You can carry him without a penalty because
Right.
of his quadruped nature.
But anybody else that'd be penalized for?
Disadvantage. If you don't have a climb speed, because you have a climb speed, it doesn't apply to you.
So I can carry anybody else.
Anybody a size or smaller. So a small person such as Jim Jar or Stool or Kosjurkis, you can carry. You can't carry another medium person at all.
Okay. So then, at which point I already got stool on me, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go 5.
I'm just gonna scoot his
10.
token over to here since he's with
Yeah. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start my climb.
you. Mm-hmm.
So I'll do like the 15 feet to get there, or however you want to position us for this.
Okay.
And
it is a 100-foot drop.
No problem. So I'm gonna go my. Well, actually, I've never used this ability before, but I have feline agility, which makes it so that once in a combat, I can double my movement speed,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can't use this trait again until I don't move, or until I move for 0 on a turn. But that's fine. So I'm gonna move and dash, so I can do 120 feet this turn.
Okay. So
So
how
it's-
much did you just move?
So 15 to get there. So I have 105 feet left.
Keep in mind your speed when you're climbing is 20, right?
True. So, hold on. So 15 feet to get there. And then what's the rest of my movement then for, is that just 5 feet of climb?
Yes. We'll give it 10. We'll just
Right. Well,
Hey.
plus doubled, right? And then another 40 after that. So 50 feet down.
Okay. Seems fair. And if you take a look at the beautiful side of the map, you might have to zoom out. You'll see a 100-foot line to measure your descent.
There we go.
Oh, I accidentally went to move something separate. My apologies. I'll move you down there. All right. The Quagoth coming to the realization that the prisoners are climbing down the wall. This one stands up, shakes off its head, and starts to move towards the door. It is now suspicious because of the deception check you rolled, glorious though it was. It is going to do an investigation intelligence check to try to figure out if you are really sure. What's your DC?
13.
His 6 does not quite cut it. And that is what the Quagoths are going to be doing. They are doing intelligence checks to determine if you are legit. Because though they doubt you, they are unwilling to act until they're sure. Both of them fail. While the drow that got punched in the face draws a hand crossbow and shoots Ront, hitting him,
Foolish.
dealing 3 damage, and putting him to sleep with a sleep dart.
Well, that distraction didn't last long. Move, boys, move!
At which point, he does something which sends out a flashing or causes a light along the bottom of the sides of the guard tower, as it were, in this stalagmite. It is I'm never going to get that right. It starts flashing an alarm. It's not verbal, it's visual. And he moves to the guard right here, stepping over Ront. I'm going to scoot Ront out of the way so there's no token conflict. And he moves to the guard door right here and reloads his crossbow, clearly with the intention of shooting Eldath. Jimjar, with his kitchen knife, dagger, turns, takes one look, and throws. He is stealth, and so he throws his dagger, the only dagger he has, at the drow in hopes of protecting her. And manages to hit the drow directly in the side of the neck.
Nice.
Where is it? There it is.
And sneak attack damage?
Yes. Hits the drow directly hits him directly in the side of the neck, burying the dagger all the way up to the hilt into his throat.
Holy
And
hell.
the drow stumbles and falls down there on the bridge. And Jimjar runs his 25 feet up to here. And he doesn't really know where to go besides right there. And he takes one look back at Ophelia and looks at her dagger and says, I bet you can't do that.
Oh,
With a smirking grin, shit-eating grin.
I hope he survives this nonsense.
Yeah, I do too.
You said going up the stairs costs?
You can go up there. What do you mean by I misunderstood what you meant?
Like your speed, like I have 30 for speed. Can I do my level 30?
You can travel anywhere that's not climbing at your 30 feet. If you start climbing, your speed is, you can move at half your speed with a check. So because those, you get to move another 15 feet because that's not considered climbing. I'm sorry, I was a little confusing. So you can move another 15 feet. The issue is going to be you guys are running out of space.
Can I move along the wall so that anyone who wants to climb down can start doing their climb? So that way I'm not in their way.
You can, but the issue was nobody had the movement speed to do that.
Yeah, none of us can actually climb.
So the drow, the sergeant, as it were, marked elite warrior. He's a sergeant. He steps out, takes a look, levels a hand crossbow at Eldath, and fires.
Oh no.
Hits her, and she fails, but unless I'm mistaken, I do believe she gets the glorious benefit of Dwarven resistance advantage on saving throws. So she gets a second saving throw. Let's see if she can pass this one. And she fails them both, and
ouch.
She manages to stop one dart and falls unconscious on the bridge.
Crap.
Sarah moves up. He moves here. He moves to right here. That's too far, my apologies. So 10, he loses 10, so he can only move to right here because of moving through others. And he drops a globe of darkness.
Yeah, he does.
Nice.
But he drops the globe of darkness not over the enemies, but over himself to protect himself.
Not so nice. But, well, at least it's... Well...
They won't
least
be able to see us.
Well,
Yeah.
at least...
So the drow here is doing his best to get out of here, and it looks like you guys can't see him, but you can hear him. And it sounds like he's going for help. The Quaggoth they're not 100% sure. They know something's going on, and once they see you guys start climbing down, they no longer are trying to determine if you're a good guy or a bad guy. They know that if someone lets the prisoners escape, they're going to get hurt. It's just they know it's not a good day to be in that situation. So he climbs. Sorry about that. He climbs over. It's 10 more feet. He can get to the top. 2 people can climb down side by side and still avoid the spider webs. So 1 on each side. You can't pass each other climbing, for the record, because obvious reasons. As you guys are climbing, though, the Quaggoth are starting to pile up, and let's move right to the bottom until somebody unless somebody wants to spend their action to wake him up, which you have every right to do. And we will just go straight to Kosjurkis.
All right.
And
he comes scrambling out of the darkness and leaps onto Indomitable's back.
Alright.
I don't think I can do anything else.
nope. Climbing up, it's considered grappling. It's a voluntary grapple.
Voluntary grapple.
Stool cannot do anything. I'm going to mark him as a negative 99 just for ease. And Bupito, he is definitely trying, but he can't get any further. I'm going to move you off to the side, Kosjurkis, just because you're...
Yep.
People over here are the ones that are being carried. Eldath, she's asleep. Prince Darendil. He is not exactly sure what to do. He is confused. Are you guys saying, is anybody saying anything? Or you guys what are you yelling?
I think Kosjurkis is just generally screeching in Draconic at
Okay.
this point.
I can yell back and say, like, wake her up and bring her along.
Yeah.
Rolen, give me a perception check. Typically it'd be passive, but I want an active here. Okay. So you hear a voice from in the darkness say, Darendil, attack the drow, defend your elven honor. And I'm going to roll a persuasion check. Let's see what we get here. Oh yeah, nice 19. Darendil listens to the voice and attacks the drow sergeant. He has disadvantage and misses, but he gets multi-attack. He's swiping with his claws, missing both times. Rolen, someone in the darkness said that. You don't know.
The voice
Sure.
didn't sound familiar.
Turn into a bird and fly away.
We'll deal with that a little later. But you hear Darendil roar in Quaggoth rage and attack.
Alright.
Those Quaggoths are coming out of there like with a vengeance as soon as this round's over.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. I'm gonna use,
We'll all survive if you just hop into a bird.
I can't, I'm not level 2. And I can't even use fly speed, so. At level 2. I'm gonna do produce flame into my hand. So make it 10 foot round bright light area. I'm hoping that will blind the Quaggoth.
Is it bright light?
It's bright light.
Produce flame is bright light?
In a 10 foot radius. And then dim light for the additional 10.
Very nice. Bright light, sunlight sensitivity, if they have it, which these don't. But those of you that do, like Kosjurkis.
He screeches louder in Draconic.
So Kosjurkis does not appreciate that, but the Quaggoth don't seem to mind.
Okay, then I will probably just extinguish that and then do hidden step 30 feet down the.
Okay.
I turn
Is that a
invisible.
spell?
Yeah, it's my own
Is it-
thing.
Oh,
It's
it's
a
a
furball.
furball. You sneaky bastard. To
Fucking
magically turn
furballs.
invisible, make a damage roll, or force someone to make a saving throw.
So yeah, I turn invisible for like my turn.
Okay. And you start to climb down? Do you have a climbing speed?
Nope.
Okay. Then you can roll me an athletics check to move 15 feet down the wall.
Shit.
Okay.
Thus ends Rolen.
Roll me a dexterity saving throw. All right, you fall down the wall, but you manage to catch yourself. You fall 25 feet. You catch yourself and take a d6 worth of damage to your hands, which is reasonable, in 6 damage as you scrape your arms and back and bang your head. And we'll give you your token back.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll go back up to the top of the round. Indomitable Spirit.
All right.
Which side do you want? You can go down 5 feet.
I'll go down the right side here.
Okay. Put you at the top. You can move as far as you can.
And I got skill. I got a climb of 20 feet, so I'm gonna go ahead. And I'm gonna do the whole 20. So that should get me just above Rolen there. And that does it for me.
All right.
Now, just out of curiosity, is it possible for me to like switch sides while climbing down? Just
Yeah, I mean, it's going to cost you 5 feet, but you're just going to move to the opposite side.
okay, that'll be fine. I just wanted to make sure on that.
Move and dash.
Okay. Passive perception of 16 is a beautiful enough to show you as you hit the ground, an ooze rises up out
What?
of the water.
This isn't water, it's all ooze.
It's an ooze in the water. As it
Oh,
rises
cool.
up, it attacks at you using its readied action, and you hear in your mind, and it's very similar to the telepathy from Stool, slightly different. It's more aggressive. And when it attacks you, a voice cries out, high-pitched, "Flesh for the faceless lord."
Oh boy.
And it forms an arm with its oozy body and tries to hit you and misses and smacks against the wall. Now you can move the rest of your movement.
That was
its reaction.
That was my full movement.
Okay. Well,
So.
that was his reaction for the round.
Oh wait, hold on. Actually, climb speed and walk speed, are those two different things? Like, can I still walk now?
If you use your full climb speed, you can't also use your walk speed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then that's it.
It's one or the other. All right. So Quagoth can't reach. What about this Quagoth? All right. This one attacks Jim Jar with a claw, swiping out, getting a solid hit on Jim Jar. 2 hits back to back, slashing at Jim Jar. Jim Jar takes a total of 12 damage. Jim Jar looks at Ophelia and says, "Get down. I will hold him for one more round, and then I'm right behind you." He steps right here, blocks the door as best he can, and uses his racial ability to cast Blur on himself.
Jim Jar, no, don't be a hero.
It's just Ophelia. You don't have to worry about
What?
it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Alright, I look at Jim Jar and I say, I bet you can't beat me to the bottom.
He smirks at you and says, I'll take that bet. Alright, so let's move you just up there. And so you can give me an athletics check. Well, if you can't go past Shushar, so I recommend going on the other side. Because you got to pick one side or the other. So you can give me an athletics check. And if you pass, there we go. That's successful. You can move half your speed, so 15, and then you can double move and move again. If you want to like move over 5 feet and then down again, you can. So if you can go 5 feet and then down 10 feet.
It is recommended.
It is.
That would put you beside Rolen, I believe.
Yeah, I think you go one more square down because it'd be 5 over than 10. There you go. So fucking Shushar, you bastard. So the Drow Sergeant sees the Quagoth. He stands his ground and draws a short sword and attacks in a flurry of stabs and thrusts, hitting him twice. And unfortunately for Prince Darendil, his blade is poison. And Prince Darendil takes a considerable amount of damage. You guys who can see him notice that it definitely hurt. And Sarah, what's that?
Can any of us actually see him? Or does the darkness...
If anybody.
Fair enough.
And Sarah, completely unintentionally, moves with his... I'm sorry, I did not mean to move that. He moves out of his range. And so he moves there. And he climbs down just to the... just above Shushar, and that's the end of his movement that he can do because of his... He can't climb down, so he's not going to do a check this round because he can't climb. And let's see, that was his full movement. And let's see. Okay. Sareth looks down at Shushar and let's see. And what he does is, not up at, down at Shushar, but he reaches up on that ledge there, and he uses his action for his racial ability known as Fairy Fire. He lets his darkness drop, and he casts Fairy Fire centered on that cube.
Ah.
And what that does is basically anybody in that cube is outlined in blue, green, or violet light. He chooses violet, and they get a saving throw if they fail it. He basically tries to put bright light around Jimmy and Bupido. Bupido fails, and the effect of it is anybody who attacks Bupido, obviously he's bright and glowy, so it draws the eye, and anybody who attacks him receives advantage.
What a dick.
Hey, let's throw this guy off the cliff.
Shushar the Awakened with his athletics check. Let's see what we get. Can he do it? Successful. He climbs down 15 feet. And those of you at the bottom, Ophelia and Rolen, you can see there's an ooze rising up out of the water attacking. And we will mark this as Shushar already went, and that will be the end of our game this week.
Oh man.
Damn it.
Oh, oh man, indeed.
Eldath.
Friggin' orcs, they ruin everything.
Well, I think we can move Eldath, get her out of here, because I don't think anybody's going back to wake her up.
Shame.
And Ront, I don't think anybody's going back to wake him up.
I'd say that was
Nope.
a fairly,
Fairly safe assumption.
yeah.
So far, this has been a moderately successful prison break.
So yeah, it's pretty impressive. You guys are making advances there. We'll see
Yeah.
how long. Nothing like a drow sleep dart when you're 50 feet down a wall. We'll see how that goes next
Yeah, I
round.
was kind of
Yeah.
hoping for darkness to remain for a little bit longer, but oh well.
Well, he had to cast another spell.
Yeah, he certainly had to do that.
You don't have to outrun the drow. You just have to make somebody else the target.
Mhm.
You know, you know, if it works, it works. Well, I will see you guys next week, and I hope you guys had fun this round in starting the prison break. I will
Always.
say that last time, the last time I ran this, the party started. They got a little cocky, and they're like, "We can make it," and they ran across the bridge with the intention of. I think they waited an extra day or somehow, and they found out information that was that at the top level of the armory, it was when they were somehow, I don't remember how. It would, obviously every game's not the same. They found out at the top level of the army there were weapons,
Right.
so they tried to get to them, and they lost like 4 or 5 NPCs in the process.
We might only lose 2.
And then they decided this isn't working. Then they took the same path you did. They're like, hey, that area doesn't have a spider web. Let's climb down there. But at that point, they lost 3 or 4 rounds. And so, you know, because Eldath would still be awake if she didn't fail her save. But, you know, the dice giveth and the dice taketh away.
It's true. It's
Hey,
true.
Tony, are those bridges made out of wood?
Zerkwood, yes.
Is that considered flammable?
That depends on what you mean. Like, for what spell?
The purposes of firebolt.
No, you're not going to just ignite it randomly. It's not like cotton. But with enough fire, yes, it will catch.
The fire ignites any flammable object hit by it that isn't worn or carried?
I will have to look into whether wood unattended is considered flammable because it's just dependent. So I'm
Yeah.
going to say I don't know right now, but I will look it up tonight or tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
But even setting the web on fire might be an interesting.
Oh god, there will be spiders everywhere.
Maybe, yeah.
Flaming
I don't know,
spiders
is it-
raining down from above.
Is that what we really want when we're climbing down is spiders falling on top of us?
Flaming spiders.
That might be what we need to beat this ooze, though. You know? No? All right.
I'll see you guys next week.
Last
Hope you
resort.
guys had fun.
All right,
Yeah,
have a good
All
one.
right. Take it easy, guys.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Take care, guys.